Anyways, I was able to find that many now, and there was still so much snow on the ground. So I know that there's more out here. And as you'll see from some of this other trash I want to share with you, just to sort of wrap up a year-end summary of some of the types of trash that I keep finding, there's plenty of other trash, plastic pollution, and there's, again, tons more buried under some of this snow still. So good morning, everyone. So I'm here at my local cove/beach again, and yeah, I think this is going to be our last beach clean video of the year, which is both crazy to say and a long time coming because it's been quite a year. And I was thinking about different themed videos that we could do today, because obviously if you follow our channel here, we've done a lot of interesting different types of beach cleanups all year, collecting bottle caps, collecting shotgun shells, collecting straws. There's been some pretty, I would say, amazing adventures this year so far. And I was thinking about how to round it out, and I was reminded of perhaps the most topical beach clean item of the year, which has, I think, been face masks, because a lot of the plastic pollution that you find at the beach is sort of stuff that has been a problem for a while, like straws and bottle caps, despite different environmental movements that have somewhat helped to mitigate those problems. But face masks, and I've been beach cleaning for several years now, never even thought of finding one of those until this year. And earlier this year I did a face mask cleanup video where I tried to see how many of those I could collect, and I think I got at least a dozen, maybe 13 or 14, quite a few in like an hour beach clean, or a couple hours beach clean. And so I thought, why not end the year by sort of going back and revisiting that theme, because I think, again, it's interesting to look at new types of pollution, and you don't necessarily think plastic pollution when you think of face masks maybe, but I actually have a lot to say about that in terms of how and why they are perhaps more environmentally damaging than people might expect. So yeah, we're going to revisit this theme, I think, today. Obviously I'll be picking up all sorts of beach trash along the way. I've already started to find some stuff, but yeah, we'll be focusing on face masks again today over the course of an hour beach clean, see how many we can collect. And you never know, I mean, this could be pretty bare bones, might not find any, but when I did the video earlier this year, didn't know how many I was going to find, and I wound up with, like I said, at least a dozen. So it should be interesting today because it snowed as per my last video, and it started to melt a little, which is good. As you can see, maybe here, the snow, the tides do wash away the snow, but the tides only go so high, so a lot of the shoreline still and cliff sides are covered in snow, so that's going to bury some of the trash. But these tide lines often bring in a lot of new trash from other places, so yeah, we're going to find no shortage of trash regardless, and probably some face masks too. But yeah, let's go around this cove here out to the beach side. Hopefully the sun comes out. Should be a nice, beautiful beach clean on a cold, but I would say beautiful December, getting towards the end of the year day. So get your bags, your pickers, and let's get trashed. Alright, well, that was quite the face mask haul. I was hoping the sun would come out. They said it would, but I guess the clouds have different ideas, as they normally do on many beach clean adventures. But as you can tell by my more than abnormal rambling, I'm quite tired from this beach clean. I walked quite a bit, and again, it was only about an hour or so to see how many face masks I could pick up in that time. But a lot of hills, a lot of snow, so it was quite the exhausting hike, even for me, who is somebody who does a lot of beach cleaning normally. But yeah, I was able to get a total count of, keep these away from me a little bit, but 13 face masks. So I think I'm going to do a contest, or just friendly fun competition on my Instagram to see who can guess the closest for this week's adventure, like I've done with many of my adventures this year. So if you did guess on Instagram and you were correct, congratulations. We'll give you a shout out here. And yeah, I really feel like this is a lot, because I think I found 13 or 14 face masks when I did this 1 hour face mask beach clean challenge earlier this year. I think it was back in September when it was much nicer weather then. And I was sort of surprised by how many I found. I think it was 13 or 14. I have to go back and check. But anyways, I was able to find that many now, and there was still so much snow on the ground. So I know that there's more out here. And as you'll see from some of this other trash I want to share with you, just to sort of wrap up a year-end summary of some of the types of trash that I keep finding, there's plenty of other trash, plastic pollution, and there's, again, tons more buried under some of this snow still. So yeah, I'll be back here probably next week to do a new video, and I'm sure I'm going to find plenty more face masks along with lots of this other stuff. So I did want to just say a little bit more about these face masks, because there are little things that you can do to sort of help prevent this as another form of, well, man-made waste and pollution. And it's actually probably as important as a lot of other litter that people really pay attention to, like straws. You've seen in recent years a lot of plastic straw bans and bag bans and advocacy around all of that. And you're starting to see it now with masks, because if you just Google face mask pollution, you'll see how a lot of this gets tangled up in weeds and biomass and that sort of stuff. And there's actually a lot of cases that I've been seeing of seagulls and other creatures getting their legs wrapped around in these loops. So a few things that you can do. Number one, I've read it's a good idea to cut the loops before you throw out your face masks. And you may say, well, if I'm throwing out my face mask, why do I need to cut the loops? I'm not littering it. But not all these face masks were just left behind by people littering. Some of them, at least, come the same way to the beach that many of these other types of plastic that I'll show you in a moment get here by, which is they start out as trash litter or in trash cans, and trash cans fall over. Raccoons, wildlife get into them, tear them over. That runs off into storm drains and eventually into the ocean. And you might be thinking, well, how often does that really happen? Well, if it happens any amount of time, it's happening all the time, right? So it's not like all of a sudden the trash cans decide to do that. It's just, it happens incidentally. I don't know, 1 out of every 100 houses. Well, there's millions of houses, right? That's happening every night. So they wind up in these secluded places. The tides bring this type of trash in with lots of other trash. And again, there's basically nobody here this time of year. So this stuff is just building up, which is why you may have seen in some of the montage clips I just did. I mean, it's just like plastic bomb apocalypse of some of these areas of tide lines where, again, people where they frequent beaches more often and they maybe do some cleaning, they might say, oh, the beach is clean. Even the entrance to this park, you might come in that way and say, oh, it's very clean along here, which it was the first maybe half mile that you walk in. But you go around to the beach side and you come around on the inside of this cove, and it's just, I mean, I filled up an entire garbage bag full of other types of trash, and I would need a whole crew to really clean everything up. And in fact, that's probably what I'm going to do at some point, because I do organize beach cleans as well, and I think it would be cool to do a clean here. It's a beautiful area, as you can see by the videos footage, but I think it would be cool to get some more people out a little farther than maybe they're used to or just accustomed to cleaning along by the entrance to the park. So yeah, anyways, you can cut the loops before you throw them out. It's easy, it's simple, it's good to do. And just be aware. Number two, I suppose, my number two way to help reduce this type of waste is, just double check that you're not dropping these or leaving them behind. I think that probably happens more often than people just tossing them, which there are always going to be those people. But I think honestly 9 times out of 10 it's incidental. It's just people put them down for a moment and forget, which is the case with some of this other stuff too, certainly. So just being more aware, I think, can go a long way. And my number 3 step would maybe be to try to find alternatives. And again, you may say, well, how much plastic is really in these? And there is some. I mean, a lot of other types of clothing and cloth fabrics that have artificial synthetic fibers and materials. It's a big problem with certain types of clothing now where they have plastic particles in them that get washed out when people clean them or just abandon them at the beach. So trying to find maybe, like, I don't know, some less plasticky alternatives. I know there's plastic or elastic in some of these bands, as well as the nose pieces. So if you can find cloth, more sort of, I don't know, organic, less synthetic alternatives. Obviously that's not an option for everybody, but it's a good idea to consider. So there are those little steps, and again, the 4th one actually would be to pick them up when you see them, and you want to be careful with that. Obviously I have gloves, I have sanitizer, I have my picker, so you don't want to pick them up if you're at all uncomfortable, because again, we are dealing with certain issues now, and you don't want to just be handling this stuff, obviously. So if you're not comfortable picking it up, certainly don't, but if you are, just make sure you're prepared. And I mean, this was just an hour beach clean that I was able to find. But I also wanted to just take a few minutes to, again, wrap up from the year, because I think I'm not really much of a New Year's resolution guy, but I think it is important to some extent to reflect, to sort of pause and look back upon where you've come from in order to sort of know where you're going, maybe, or try to figure out where you're going. And so I picked up a lot of other common stuff that I was finding along the way. And like many of my other videos that you may have seen if you're subscribed, and if you're not, you can just hit the button in the corner of the screen or below, and please do, because my goal was to get 100 subscribers this year, and I started with 1 at the beginning of the year, and we're really close. We're at like 93, and I just think it would be really cool. It's been so interesting to meet so many new people, just and seeing what they do with their own beach cleaning and how they're getting involved. But anyways, yeah, I found a lot of just common stuff that I think if you go back and watch some of my videos, or again, if you've seen some of them already, you sort of will recognize. And again, some of this stuff we don't necessarily always think about, because we may think, oh, these issues have been solved, like straws, but I'm still finding them. And again, they're not. Just banning straws isn't necessarily the answer to the problem. I think we need to, really just talk more about like different solutions and different ways to find alternatives, and to be less, wasteful with our single-use plastics and that sort of stuff. So yeah, I found plenty of straws and a lot of stuff left over from the summer, like beach toys, which was a couple of videos ago I did looking at beach toys. Obviously, these are always going to be left at the beach by people, unfortunately, but these run off from street side sources too. I find so many cans and bottles along the road that I can sometimes watch go into storm drains, which lead out to, obviously, waterways. So picking up trash, even if you don't live near a beach, can actually be a form of beach cleaning, honestly, because it's going to wind up at the beach anyways, ultimately. Found more bubble wrap, which again, people aren't coming to the beach and just dumping their bubble wrap. This stuff is getting here other ways. And again, I think a lot of it is tipped over garbage cans, ripped open trash bags, and the plastic is in no hurry to find its way to the beach. I mean, this is obviously a pretty worn old piece, but if it takes, 5 days, 5 months, 5 years to get here and then degrade further, it's going to take its time to do that. And again, some of this stuff is just bad because it does get into the digestive tracts of different marine animals, and all you have to do is Google marine animals eating plastic and you'll see some pretty horrific videos of how and why that's bad, but I defer that to your judgment to research further. Yeah, weird stuff like combs. I found a lot of those this year. Stuff left over from the summer, like I said. This was definitely a summer chip bag, and now it's just plastic degrading, so good to pick that up. Same thing here. I mean, come on. This is classic summer juice thing. look at this. This is obviously kind of a convenience single-use cup, and as you can see, it's been quite degraded, and it's just degrading further. And some of this is sharp too. It can cut animals. So there's long-term consequences, but also these short-term consequences too. I could go through this all day. I'm not going to, but I found it was really interesting because honestly, I found what I felt like was a good spread of the types of stuff that I've been finding for years now, but particularly this year, going through it and really focusing on different types of trash. Sunglasses, sandals left over from the summer, beach foam, and when I say beach foam, these are from like buoys and those sorts of things. Shotgun shells, I did a whole video on that, collecting shotgun shells. I got like 40 something in an hour. Of course, our old Nemesis bottle caps, I collected like 100 and something of those in an hour. Takeout cutlery, single use, lots of stuff like that. And again, clothing type stuff that has synthetic fibers, like old hats that are degrading, balloons. I really found all the hits today. All the types of trash I found year round. And I think the storm sort of helped with this because these less trafficked places, the trash sort of washes in, and if nobody's picking up, it just builds up and builds up and builds up. So lighters, obviously, that's a common one. Tennis balls. I can't tell you how many tennis balls I found this year either, and I keep finding them, so those are good. You wouldn't recognize this maybe as a tennis ball, but it is, just albeit a degraded one. So I won't go through everything else, but it's basically more of that, and I'll just end with some of the funnier ones. So I found this brush, this broom brush, and I found a couple of them actually, but I'm not sure what type of fiber this is, but these often have synthetic plastic fiber, so we can clean the beach with this. Oh man, I'm tired. It's been a long year, a longer beach clean day. So finally, I'll just show you, my last piece was a life vest, which is basically all plastic, I think. Maybe there's some rubber or something else in it, but yeah, I thought this was fitting that I find a life vest to end the year of beach cleaning, because we need we need help out here. So I thought that again was fitting. But yeah, anyways, so that's basically our final beach clean of the year. This video I'll probably post a few days before New Year's, and of course I'm gonna keep having videos right into January and right into the new year. I have so many cool ideas for videos coming up, and unfortunately it's always a bittersweet experience, because as I said, I've been beach cleaning for years now, and it's always good to share these stories and these experiences, but it's daunting in some ways, right? All this trash that's out here. So yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody who's subscribed. Again, you can subscribe below if you like this kind of stuff and learning more. And I'm really looking forward to next year, to sharing more and learning more myself. This past year has been really wild ride in many ways, and I think most people can obviously relate for various reasons to that sentiment. But in some ways, I think it's been an inspiring year and an encouraging year to see people persevere and to try to do more ourselves. And a lot has changed, but I think a lot can continue to change, and can continue to change in positive directions if we sort of just try to reassess and work together more, which it feels cliche to say that, but I think it's true. I mean, I again have been cleaning for so many years now, but I've only really started to do this type of sharing this year, and it's been a long journey. I mean, I did a TEDx talk about beach cleaning earlier this year. I've done lectures. I've obviously been doing these videos, and again, I've met so many interesting people on social media, and it's they tell me that it inspires them, but it honestly inspires me to hear their stories, like I say, and learn more from them. That's what it's about. As a professor, I always say, if you think that you've learned everything, then that's when you have failed. That's the only time when you have failed. And in fact, when you fail otherwise, you can learn from those lessons. So I'm going to keep learning going into next year, and keep trying to share this awareness, and just keep the ball rolling with cleaning up this type of ocean plastic pollution. So thanks again so much. I'm getting really chilly out here. It's pretty cold. Hopefully we have some less frigid weather coming up, but we'll have some interesting beach clean videos regardless. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. thanks for coming out here. I wish I could have more people out here, but yeah, we're gonna have more beach clean adventures moving forward. So until next time, Happy New Year to everybody. I wish everybody well, stay safe, clean well, and hope to see you on the beach soon.